Every insight deserves an audience. Welcome to Atypica.AI.
Here's the brutal truth about consulting partnerships. 95% of them fail because they can't prove they actually work. I just spent months solving this exact problem for a partnership between Happioh and Atypica.AI. And what I just fundamentally think into dollars. If you've ever hired consultants, bought market research, or wondered why your business insights gather dust instead of generating revenue, this episode will give you a framework that transforms expensive reports into measurable profit. I'm talking about a systematic approach that took one B2B SaaS company from struggling with high customer acquisition costs to achieving an 18% CAC reduction in 6 weeks, delivering a 3.5x ROI on their consulting investment. The problem I investigated isn't unique to this partnership. It's the classic between data and action that plagues every business buying intelligence service. You pay thousands for insights, get a beautiful report, then ... nothing changes. Your conversion rates stay flat, your costs remain high, and you can't prove the research was worth the investment. Through interviews with 5 different business personas from small e-commerce owners to enterprise CMOs, I uncovered why this happens and, more importantly, how to fix it systematically.
Let me start with what I call the insight graveyard problem. Sam, an e-commerce business owner, told me point blank, the gap between data and action is a real pain point for me. He's not alone. Maya, a product development manager, described trying to translate market insights into product specifications as speaking 2 different languages. And Sarah, a marketing director, revealed her biggest fear: going to the CFO unable to prove their research investment led to actual business results. This isn't a knowledge problem. These are smart people. It's a process problem. There's no systematic way to bridge insights and implementation. Here's what I realized. The solution isn't better data or smarter consultants. It's a standardized pilot framework that proves value before asking for major commitments. I call it the pilot-in-a-box approach. After analyzing successful B2B consulting models and controlled pilot methodologies, I developed a 3-tier system that addresses different client needs and rigorous standards. The framework works because it focuses on what I discovered clients actually want, not more insights, but measurable business outcomes they can defend to their leadership. The first tier is the workshop, a $2,500 to $5,000 entry point that takes one key finding from a research report and translates it into a specific action plan. This isn't consulting theater, it's a focused session that gives clients immediate next steps while qualifying serious prospects. The second tier is where the magic happens, the Ignite pilot program. This 6-week engagement follows what I call the Build, Measure, Learn methodology, borrowed from lean startup principles. Week 1 establishes baseline metrics and full alignment on success definition. Weeks 2 through 5 involve weekly action plans with 30-minute check-ins with agile optimization. Week 6 delivers final analysis and ROI calculation. But here's the crucial insight from my research. The pilot must be scoped differently for different customer segments. Small e-commerce owners need rapid, platform-specific optimizations focused on conversion rates and average order value. Strategic marketers at larger companies need cross-functional initiatives targeting customer acquisition costs and sales cycle length. Product innovators need frameworks that reduce time to market while improving sell-through rates. The pricing reflects this differentiation. E-commerce pilots range from $7,500 to $15,000. B2B strategic initiatives command $25,000 to $50,000. This isn't arbitrary. My interviews revealed these price points hit the sweet spot where clients perceive serious value without triggering too expensive for a pilot resistance. Now, let me address what you're probably thinking. How do you actually prove these pilots work? This was the make or break challenge. Alex, a marketing director, warned me about attribution hell and demanded no fuzzy numbers. Sarah needed results she could present to her CFO with confidence. The solution is a control group methodology wherever possible. Instead of implementing changes across an entire campaign or website, you test new approaches against control segments. For e-commerce, this means A/B testing new product descriptions or ad creative. For B2B companies, it means running new messaging with test audiences while maintaining existing approaches for comparison groups. The ROI calculation is straightforward but rigorous. Financial gain from the pilot minus pilot costs divided by pilot costs. Financial gain includes both revenue increases and cost savings. For e-commerce, that's increased sales plus lower customer acquisition costs. For B2B companies, it's the value of new qualified leads plus reduced sales cycle time plus CAC improvements. Every client I interviewed independently cited 3x ROI as their threshold for scaling pilot results into larger engagements. Dan, a CMO, put it perfectly. If you can show me a credible path to a 3x, 5x, or even 10x ROI, no-brainer. The third tier, launch implementation partnership, becomes the natural next step for successful pilots. This longer-term retainer model combines monthly fees with performance-based bonuses, creating aligned incentives for sustained results. What makes this framework powerful isn't just the structure, it's the systematic approach to proving value. Too many consulting relationships fail because they can't demonstrate clear cause and effect between interventions and outcomes. This pilot methodology creates that proof by design. I've already seen this approach work. The B2B SaaS company I mentioned achieved their 18% KC reduction using exactly this framework. They started with baseline measurement, implemented targeted messaging changes based on competitive insights, and tracked results against control segments. The math was undeniable. $87,500 in projected annual savings from a $25,000 pilot investment. But here's what most people miss. The real value isn't just the immediate ROI. It's creating a repeatable process for turning future insights into measurable business improvements. Once you prove the framework works, every subsequent research investment becomes exponentially more valuable. If you're buying market research, hiring consultants, or trying to prove the value of business intelligence initiatives, you need this systematic approach. Don't let your insights join the graveyard of expensive reports that never drove action. Based on this research, my recommendation is clear. Demand pilot programs before committing to large consulting engagements. Insist on control group methodologies. Require ROI calculations with clear attribution. And remember, if a consultant can't prove 3x ROI in a focused pilot, they probably can't deliver results at scale either. The gap between data and action isn't inevitable. It's a process problem with a systematic solution. Now you have the framework to bridge that gap and turn your insights into measurable profit.
Want to learn more about interesting research?
Check out
Atypica.AI.